What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video? Hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today is Wednesday, August 10th, day 36 inside the Big Brother house. And look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. It was a bit of a slow one, but we do have some things to kind of talk about, things that happened, kind of fill you in on. Brittany had a really rough day. Michael got really heated towards the end of the night. And there was also some secrets being shared underneath a blanket between Jasmine and Indy, and we're not 100% sure what they were talking about. So let's just kind of jump into it. We did start off the day with Taylor having kind of a lone time, kind of talking to the camera, kind of reflecting on her time inside the house. And I think it's finally hitting her how rough that first few weeks of the game really were for her, and how hard it was to be ostracized from the house, and all the bad treatment that she had. She talked about how wonderful she feels finding people who have accepted her and brought her in, and because of that, she wants to stay loyal to those people until she can't anymore in the game. She also talked about the whole jailer situation, right? This fomance that she has going on with Joseph, where it's not really a showmance yet. They're kind of pretending that it's this show for everybody in the house to kind of explain why they have gotten close with each other instead of actually being in an alliance called the Leftovers. So she's decided that it's really been kind of nice because they can flirt but really actually talk game, and nobody really will pay attention to it. So she kind of likes that. As far as the feelings go, she says, that's a different story, but I have a feeling that she's catching some feelings for him. Other than that, as far as the campaigning go, Daniel, he was working on Brittany, who kind of just played that, like, I'm in the middle, I don't know what to do, like, making no promises to Daniel, obviously, that she was going to keep him, but definitely just not saying, like, yeah, I'm voting you out. So he's just kind of playing along with him a little bit, stringing him along as she goes. Jasmine, as we talked about yesterday, her plan was to work on Alyssa, to try and get Alyssa to vote out her showmance, Kyle. And first off, I don't even understand how they think this was really going to work out for them. For Alyssa, it makes no sense in the world to vote Kyle out, right? Even if, you know, you think, oh yeah, well, Daniel is with us on this side of the house, we got to worry about the other side of the house. And if Daniel leaves, Kyle will join that side of the house. If you're Alyssa, well, Kyle's going to keep you safe. Kyle is your strongest ally, and the person that you would assume is not going to put you on the block. So for her, it just doesn't make any sense. Jasmine was trying to get her on board with this. Kyle actually, he actually interrupted this little conversation and crashed it. And Alyssa actually filled him in afterwards on what was going on. But this spooked Alyssa a little bit. She actually went to Michael and Brittany and asked, like, is Kyle safe? Is Daniel going home? And they reassured her, yes, you know, Kyle is safe. Daniel is the target as far as they're aware. They floated the idea of kind of forming a little four-person alliance, right? Working together with Kyle and Alyssa, Michael and Brittany, being kind of a four-person team. And that potentially Monte should be the one to go out next. But at least for Michael, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, that doesn't mean anything. He's not he's not on board with actually working with Alyssa at all. Other than that, that gets us into the situation with Jasmine and Indy. So Indy and Jasmine had this little conversation in the back bedroom, and if that wasn't secluded enough, they decided that they couldn't have this conversation out in the open on the feeds, so they put a blanket over both of their heads, and they didn't even whisper. Like, they were talking so low you could barely hear anything. They were kind of just mouthing words to each other. Big Brother did tell them to stop, but it was like, come on, what are you doing? Now, what the conversation actually was is a bit up for debate. I gave it a listen myself. If any of you have seen the clip and you think you heard it better, let me know. I think I heard Kyle's name in there, but other than that, I couldn't really hear much. The main stuff I was able to get from it was after they took the blanket off, Jasmine said, well, how did you know? Like, how did you know? And Indy kind of writes on her knee, it looks like an H. She kind of does like a motion that's like she's writing an H on Jasmine's knee. Now, if that was me, like the only things I can kind of connect is H knee, horror knee, right? Like that, and she's like, you're horny, you're that, and Jasmine goes, oh. So a lot of people kind of think this was Jasmine telling Indy she has a crush on Joseph, which is a bit of an issue, seeing as Jasmine is married, and it was just her husband's birthday a few days ago. That would definitely be a conversation she wouldn't want to have wide open on the feeds. Indy is not shy about having a crush on Joseph. Both of them hate the idea that he spends any time with Taylor at all, and that there could be the showmance forming with that. And maybe it's just a simple thing of jealousy. It's like, he likes her? What? Why not me? Who knows? But it was really hard to tell what was actually said because of that. But I hate when the house gets try and hide stuff like that. It's like, come on, just have the conversation. You're on the live feeds for our entertainment right now. Like, yeah, you're trying to win money and stuff, but like, there's no need to go that far in hiding. Speaking of hiding, there was a few pranks that were pulled later on in the day as most of the house guests were up in the HOH room. Indy headed on up, so they all hid. Michael was in the tub, kind of laying down. Everybody else was hiding behind the bed. Turner was the only one who was just sitting there chilling, pretending like he was just hanging out. And when Indy walked in, she's like, "Where is everybody?" It's like, "Oh, I think they're in the have-not room." But she wasn't as fooled because she actually saw some people hiding behind the bed. They tried it with Jasmine later as well, who ended up catching on. But Taylor was the one that they got the best. So Taylor comes in and she's like, "Where?" "Oh, I think they're in the have-not room." So she goes to the have-not room. Nobody's there. Comes back to the HOH room where she just finds everybody hanging out like nothing happened. They're just all sitting there normal, like, "Hey, what's going on?" So they got her pretty good. After that, later in the night, we did have a booze delivery. I told you, it was a slow day. Production agreed, so they said, let's give them some alcohol. We also mentioned the last time they had some booze, Turner wanted to do some shotguns. He wanted to shotgun some beers, but nobody seemed interested. He did have some people who were down for it this time. Him, Taylor, Monte, all shotgun the beer together. And Turner, oh, he's a champ. He finished that thing maybe in 2 seconds. He crushed that shotgun. Taylor, also very impressive. I was like, oh, okay, Taylor, nice. Monte, listen, Monte, we need to talk, man. Like, you didn't even crack it. Anybody who shotgunned a beer before, you put a little hole in it, you crack it open, and it kind of shoots down. He didn't actually crack it. It took him like several times. He had to put it up and down a couple of times. When he punched the hole in it, he squirted the mirror so it went up on there. Monte, listen, we need to get your shotgunning technique into better form. A lot of the house guests ended up kind of like giving their alcohol portions, right? Because everybody's got to have a little bit of a share to Taylor. So Taylor was having some fun, drinking some wine, and she's fun when she's had a few drinks in her. She gets very, very funny. She's got a lot of great one-liners that she'll pull out. There was a moment where she was talking to Daniel and some of the others about, oh, yeah, after this, we'll have like a group text. And she said, yeah, when we have that group text, I'm going to say, yeah, I watched the first 3 episodes. Taylor has left the conversation. So she's real fun. She also said, oh, you guys are giving me all this alcohol. You guys want to see, Fun Taylor. Oh, what's Fun Taylor's name? Flirte. So that was kind of how things were going there. In some other news, Brittany wasn't having so much fun today. She was kind of having a rough one. I think it was just a combination of being inside that house is really rough in the first place. I think she was a bit homesick. She was also had that news last night that the other side was planning to kind of use her as the reason why Kyle went home and not Daniel, and kind of lie and say she was the one who flipped and made it happen. So I think it's just a lot of that was kind of getting to her in the game. Plus, I don't think she's been feeling very confident in herself. And it was kind of sad to kind of hear her talk about it, where she said she doesn't feel confident in her skin. She says, people keep calling her a mom, and she's not a mom. And even if she was, it kind of stinks because she doesn't feel like she can be, pretty. And listen, Brittany, you are amazing, and I hope if you ever see this, have some confidence in yourself. We all love you. We think maybe you talk a little bit too much and spill a little too much, but other than that, we love you, Brittany, and I hope she starts having a better day in there. We did have some game talk with them playing Chinese checkers, and some of the leftovers were upstairs, and it was kind of them just bashing on how Jasmine has been using her birthday coming up and her father's birthday, who sadly passed away. And they felt like she was kind of using that as a bit of a guilt trip into not targeting her and putting her up next week. And they said what really bugs them is she'll do that, and then she'll say, like, oh, I'm so honest and I have integrity, but then she's going around spinning lies behind all their backs. And Michael actually had a little bit of a cam talk in the HOH where he got really heated over the Jasmine situation, and also a bit of a Joseph situation we'll get to in just a second. But what I thought was funny was he was talking about Jasmine and how she does all this and talks behind people's backs, and he says, okay, I'm doing that right now, but I also don't go around saying I'm Mr. Integrity. Speaking of the Joseph stuff, Michael was a bit upset with Joseph. Not upset, but it definitely rubbed them the wrong way when Joseph was kind of just explaining his position in the house of having to go to the other side and talk to them and lie to them and kind of listen to them bash all of his friends and people he's working with in the game, and how hard it is for him to kind of just sit there and let it happen. And he tries not to, include himself in those and just kind of be there for it. But he said it's a hard position to put himself in. And on top of that, he feels like because he's doing so much in building their trust and getting them to believe in him, he feels like once it gets to the jury phase, he's going to really struggle with votes. Bit of a mistake there from Joseph. I don't think it was a good idea to start bringing up jury management and jury votes right now, especially with your alliance members who you plan on going farther into the game with. But it was his choice that he brought up, and it did rub Michael the wrong way, saying how him and Monte are the ones who are really sticking their necks out there and have made the moves that have made the other side angry, and they have the biggest targets on their back. I can really see both sides of it. Michael is right. He is one who has made a lot of moves. Monte as well, with the past two HOH reigns. But Joseph does have a point. The position he's in is a rough one, and he's doing a lot of great work for the leftovers, getting all this information for them. But yeah, I definitely see both sides of the situation there. But Michael definitely was hurt by that, or at least it rubbed them the wrong way. He also talked about his kind of list of targets. Jasmine, Alyssa, Indy, and Terrance are his top targets. He'd like to see them go boom, 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 boom. Then after that, Joseph, Kyle, and then Monte, with his final four being himself, Brittany, Taylor, and Turner, which is a bit of a change from earlier in the week when he had his cam talks, because been really fun having Michael as HOH. He really talks a lot to the cameras, especially late at night, kind of just going over where his head's at, what he's thinking about. And he gave a final five that was something along the lines of himself, Brittany, Taylor, Indy, and Jasmine. So he's completely changed from the beginning of the week and the beginning of his HOH reign till now. So that's kind of interesting to hear that he's changed that much on especially Jasmine and Indy. He also said to watch out for his goodbye message. He plans on it being a scathing one for Daniel. I think he might include a bit of a reference to the idiot sandwich meme. If any of you guys have seen that one where Gordon Ramsay takes two pieces of bread, puts it against Julie Chen's face and says, "What are you?" And she says, "An idiot sandwich." he might include that in it. We'll see. But I am looking forward to tomorrow night's live eviction to see all the different goodbye message. I bet Daniel's gonna receive. I bet Michael's gonna be a good one. Taylor's probably gonna have a really good one for him as well. So that will be fun. We also had Turner talk about the Mr. Beast situation and how rough that was for him to go through. For him, he just kind of wanted to get his truth out there and say his piece on the experience he had working in that situation and how it wasn't a good fit for him and how it was really hard for him to be there. I think there was a lot of kind of a toxic work environment. And, I don't know the whole situation on what actually he went through, what happened, what didn't. But I think we all can relate to just having a job, whether it's, not even necessarily that it's a bad work environment. It's just a bad fit and you're just not enjoying yourself there. And it's best to kind of get out of that situation if you can. And it's something that lasted a long time for him. He said it lasted about 2.5 years, that he would get a lot of rough treatment online from this. And he said it only really ended a few months ago. He did disclose it to production and they all really kind of understood. He talked about the interviews he gave. He gave one with the New York Times that he said he really appreciated how much they supported him and really had his side on the whole situation. And then he did one with Rolling Stone that he also appreciated because they were very right down the middle and unbiased with it, kind of giving both sides credibility. And he said after that, he was like, the only thing that can happen after this is that somebody takes the complete opposite sides and trashes him. So he was done giving interviews. So it really kind of sucks to hear that he had such a rough time after all that, especially getting to see Turner on the feeds and getting to know him a little bit more and some of his personality. He seems like a really chill, fun guy. So it kind of sucks that he had to go through something like that. But yeah, other than that, not a lot happened inside the house. Tonight, we do have the veto episode. We'll get to see OTEV, which was the competition. We'll see the whole will Monte be the target and the attempt to keep the nominations the same, plus the veto meeting should be tonight. And then tomorrow night, we will have the live eviction episode, which we will be live here on the channel doing a watch-along. I do have a few little kind of guesses on what could happen. Let's bring up our alliance chart too so we can take a look at this. On what will happen on the live eviction. I have a feeling the Festy Besties are going to end this week, so we should see them go. It's possible they extend it for another week and have it going, but I have a feeling Julie's going to say that the Besties twist is over. They also don't have the backyard already. All day it was down. So it might be kind of a complex build in the backyard for the competition tomorrow. So we'll see how that all goes. But it's potential. A lot of them are thinking that it's going to be endurance. If it does happen to be an endurance comp, a wall competition, we will be live right here on this channel until we have a winner. So those are always a lot of fun. Definitely long nights, but fun nights here on the channel. But yeah, other than that, that pretty much covers everything that happened inside the house. What do you guys think about everything that went on? What do you think was really said by Indy and Jasmine? Let me know in those comments down below. If you are new here, hit that like button. If you're new here as well, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video, you never miss a stream. Hit that notification bell. And one last thing. One last thing before I do leave you guys. Kyle and Alyssa said they wanted to have sex. Bye, everybody.